Welcome to Stadium BS. For more information, check out www.castellonms.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. This is Frankie Castellon. I am the host of Stadium BS. Take a look at my website, www.castellonms.com, where you can find everything Frankie, including the kitchen sink and my hair follicles. I'm doing this a little differently today because I got retrieved some information before I start this episode with Kevin Johnson, who is part of the J.A.M Academy over in Cape Town, South Africa. And I'm recording this way before my interview, which is a couple days from now, so you'll get it all coincide. And I got a message from Coach Andre, basically sending a group message in the Facebook group we all are on. How I discovered a lot of the people that I've interviewed here. Basically, there was a post, and it was a very honest post and a truthful post that told the history of baseball in South Africa. Started for the way beginning. So I wanted to read this to you and see what you think. If my pronunciations is not good, I apologize. But I wanted to have this read with you to see if you understand it a little bit better on the impact of baseball in South Africa. South Africa has a long history of baseball. The game was first played on its shores in 1895 when a group of Americans who had migrated to South Africa during the gold boom before the Boer War settled in the Transvaal province, which is pretty much the land that is within Johannesburg and Pretoria in the northeast side. The Americans were true missionaries for the sport, bringing equipment, creating a baseball diamond, and setting up games. Thanks to their persistence and local interest in baseball, an official league was set up in 1899. And in September 1904, Transvaal's first official provincial baseball body was formed. In the league's inaugural season, the circuit was dominated by hitters. The Washington Post reported on December 25, 1904, that the players of the different teams can hit the ball, even if they not yet attained the accuracy and agility in fielding that their American cousins have reached. Of the 37 players who were listed in the 1899 official records, 23 hit over 300, and the top batter registered at a .535 batting average. 4 years later, the game was still developing, and some South Africans were even boasting about the quality of their facilities. In a letter to former Yankees president Joe Gordon, L.A. Servatius, who was involved with the sport in the city of Johannesburg, crowed that the fields that they were playing were as fast and level as a billiard table. Still, the sport at that point was experiencing growing pains. According to an article in April 19, 1908, in an edition of the Washington Post, the South African League just had 4 teams, and they had to pay for the use of their fine fields at a location where top teams from other sports were allowed to play for free, and it was known as the Wanderers Athletic Association. Nevertheless, Servatius was sanguine about the sport's future. which at the time featured games drawing from 100 to 700 spectators. The growing Afrikaner is taken to the game, and there is a possibility of a school league being formed in addition to our little organization. By 1930, the sport had spread thanks to a provincial player from Transvaal who moved into the Natal province and brought baseball with him. A year later, on July 5th, Natal and Transvaal played in their first interprovincial contest in Durban. Along with the birth of baseball in Natal, the sport also spread in the Western Province at the start of the 1930s. Again, because players from Transvaal during this period, baseball was enjoying sustained growth in Transvaal as junior membership exceeded 100 for the first time in 1932. Baseball continued to migrate during this era, with games being played in the Cape and in the Eastern Province, where an association was formed in Port Elizabeth in 1934. Baseball entered a quiet period between 1940 and 1946 because of World War II. But the game survived in Transvaal, and unofficial leagues were contested elsewhere by servicemen on leave. Following the war, provincial play returned, and the popularity of the game was such that baseball in Transvaal was split as a new Northern Transvaal Association was founded. In 1951, an Eastern Transvaal Association was also created. With the growth of the game in the 1950s, the first large national tournament was held in 1952 in Cape Town and Johannesburg. South Africa stepped into the international stage in 1955 when an American team of all-stars toured South Africa. The U.S. players were not superstars, but a solid combination of amateur and college players. Coached by Terry Bartron, a high school skipper from Rosemead, California, and managed by Ray Hansen, the director of athletics at Western Illinois State College in Macomb, Illinois. The squad was selected by the United States Amateur Baseball Federation, based on nominations from the Federation's affiliates throughout the United States. Since then, they have been in multiple World Cups, having their first Olympic win in 2000, bringing a first South African major leaguer in 2017, and currently having a major league pitcher playing AAA for the Atlanta Braves. That's a lot, but there could be more. And that's the reason why I started doing this series of the impact of baseball. This right here is the foundation of it and can grow a lot more to the point that we will have a huge contender in the next baseball classic. Venezuela won, but guess what? 4 years away, which will be 2030, maybe 2029. I really lean it to be 2030, depending on the CBA. I could see South Africa being a huge impact. And not even put him in the qualifiers, just put him straight in, depending on how the rules are. Within the next few years, as I interview people from this region, from now the continent of Africa, there is growth that could be viewed. Lots of potential, lots of eagerness towards the game, a lot of expansion towards the game. This is the reason why I'm addressing this. And the guest I have coming up, Mr. Kevin Johnson of the J.A.M Academy in Cape Town, is no different. Still trying to make that impact on South Africa's youth in order to not only develop their skills in the game of baseball, but also develop the skills on the game of life. I'm going to introduce to you Kevin Johnson of the J.A.M Academy, South Africa. Do you want to start your day off right? Do you want to start your day off healthy? Then look no further. If you want that healthy blend and a little caffeine inside of you just to feel good about your day, then look no further. Take a look at the Strong Coffee Company and take a look at their website, strongcoffeecompany.com. Elevate your coffee routine with Strong Coffee Company's Black Instant Blend and Lattes. Both feature organic coffee, protein, MCTs, and adaptogens for sustained energy and mental clarity. Enjoy an exclusive discount with my promo code, which will give you 20% off any item on your order. Use my promo code StadiumBS, all one word, for 20% off any item there is. Trust me, you will thank me later on getting the right dosage of the Strong Coffee Company. Start healthy, start right, and have yourself a great start of the day. Strong Coffee Company. Start your day off right. Stadium BS is in the house. www.castellonms.com. That is CASTELLONMS.com. Selling everything, including the kitchen sink and my hair follicles. I do have a special guest. This is now going to be part 4 of the impact of baseball in South Africa. This is very much gaining traction, and it's also for me to understand more about the impact of the game in South Africa. I have a special guest. He is a part of the J.A.M Academy, along with Coach Andre, who I interviewed a couple weeks back. Take a look at that episode, part 3. And I'm excited to have him on the show, Mr. Kevin Johnson of the J.A.M Academy. Kevin, how are you?
I'm good, Frank. Thanks for having me.
Now, from what Coach Andre explained to me, that your academy does both baseball and soccer, correct?
Baseball, soccer, and softball as well.
And softball, okay. And basically, you're helping the youth in order to grow structure in the game, so they can prepare themselves for life, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. So, I'll jump straight back into it. From a J.A.M Academy point of view, we a little bit broad in terms of it's grassroots as well as elite. And the people that's involved, myself, Andre, and Moses Molaba, we kind of have a wealth of experience locally as well as internationally in soccer, baseball, and softball. So it's kind of been a little bit of a journey for all three separately, and we found each other because we have very similar ideas on what we want to achieve, and it is sport, but sport is the tool for us to kind of help people better their lives.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you a little thing that once I have this show edited, I did an introduction that Coach Andre sent me, and it was through that Facebook group that I found all of you guys at. It was it was like from years ago. It was involving the detailed history of South Africa, and that wasn't told, and it went into detail of like what South Africa's participated in, current major league players we have, which is going to be 1, and they're going to be in AAA. What was the contribution to baseball in South Africa? So let me ask you a question. What made you love the game of baseball?
So I mean, in South Africa we have previously we had what we called apartheid, and the separation of the groups, kind of kept us all apart. But in my perspective and Andre's perspective, we were classed as colored people. So we have coloreds, blacks, and whites, and we were classed as the colored people. And um, the colored persons, shall we call it, way out of the doldrums was
Mm.
sport, and
Yeah.
we were super good at sport. So what happened in terms of my involvement? So soccer and baseball always seem to find each other, and cricket and rugby, they kind of sort of found each other.
Mm.
So I, myself and Andre, we were both professional soccer players, well, semi-professional for
Hmm.
for for a fair amount of time, and obviously that meant we were also baseball players. Um, out of the two, I'm obviously the one that's reached the furthest with my baseball career, because I've been super blessed that I've played international baseball for quite a number of years.
Hmm.
Um, Played at the Olympics in 2000.
You did.
Yes, I did.
Oh
Um,
wow!
yeah,
Actually, I thought like I saw the like bits and pieces of that game on YouTube, and I was
yeah,
like, I was thrilled seeing
yeah. Well,
seeing
I,
South
I
Africa in
played.
the Olympics.
Yeah, I played every minute of every game in the Olympics. I was the second baseman.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so that is obviously the highlight of my sporting career in terms of baseball. But
Hmm.
it wasn't the end. It was kind of the start for me, because I played a lot of international baseball.
Hmm.
But when I kind of ended a little bit earlier, in my early mid 30s,
Hmm.
um, because the coaching bug bit, where I wanted to help the next wave.
Of
And
course.
yeah, and I stopped playing about 3 years internationally. I stopped playing about 3 years after the Olympics, so 2003.
Hmm.
Um, Got into the coaching side of things, and pretty much was a international coach for the past 10 years, until about 2 years ago, when I took a back step, purely
Hmm.
because I was not happy with the way that South African baseball was planning its international tours and things like that.
Hmm.
So I figured I had to take a back step, and I mean, I've been blessed. I've been super blessed. I've been part of the World Baseball Classic as well, so the qualifiers. So my last one actually happened to be in 2022, which was supposedly the qualifiers for the one that just ended now. And
Yes.
yeah, and I mean, we were super unfortunate not to have qualified, because we kind of put on a show there. And again, our I won't call it inexperience. I'll say our lack of playing at the international level regularly, that counts
Yeah.
against us. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so my plan has always been to prepare the players for that international type baseball, because I know what it takes. And
Wow.
yeah,
Which
so
coach were you in the WBC?
I was in part of the at Regensburg, the Regensburg qualifier, which was in Germany, and
Hmm.
I was actually the first base coach in that team. Yeah, which was led at
Wow.
that stage by Coach Andy Berglund, who's a scout for the Brewers, international scout for the Brewers. So he was the manager of that tour. So yeah, so yeah, so I've been blessed. I know Germany well, because I played in Germany for a year way back. So I've got a lot of friends. I've been to the Dominican Republic with the German team to try to prepare their kids. So yeah, I've been blessed, and I've got a lot of people around the world who know me, and that's
Mhm.
one of the reasons I decided to take this big bold step, um, and start this academy with Andre to get that next wave of people to the level that we know we can achieve.
That's beautiful. I'm grateful to talk to you in regards to that because I told the story to Andre. I'm a mutt. I have multiple roots. I am not only American, I am Puerto Rican, which is part of America.
Yeah,
But we have a whole different culture for Puerto Rico, whole different culture, and I am also part Nicaragua through my grandfather, and I'm also part South African through my dad.
Okay.
So we know that the impact of baseball is popular in the Caribbean, in Central America, South America. Well, not, I
Yeah,
can't really say South America, maybe,
there's a
but
bit.
the Caribbean
Yeah.
mostly big impact in baseball. So what about South Africa? And that's where I wanted to dive in. My first interview was with Ashley Scott, which do you
Yeah.
know Ashley Scott?
Yeah. Yeah, I know Ashley Scott. Yeah.
And he gave me some great insight about what can be done to bring the game better to South Africa. What can we do in order to bring exposure to the game, and saying to the states, hey, we got some great players here. I think we deserve our 15 minutes,
Yeah.
if that's okay, because MLB has I'm like MLB is having a huge investment in the Dominican Republic. They're actually building academies for them and signing kids at the age of 12.
Yeah.
So can you imagine bringing, not only baseball fields, but bringing stadiums, bringing structure academies? Do you know how much that would be impact for South Africa? And can be one of those big sports like rugby, like cricket, like soccer.
Yeah.
So I've been getting a lot of insight through a lot of people, not just the ones I've interviewed, and it has been an absolute wild ride. And I'm grateful that I'm doing this for the country of South Africa. Make my kids proud, because I do have one kid that's out there in South Africa.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's a long story, but and I've been out there. I've been to Johannesburg.
Yeah.
Been out in that area, heading to parts of different countrysides, heading towards Pretoria. That's
Yeah.
where I've been. So I got to understand the environment, the good, the bad, the ugly, and what is right with South Africa. I love jacaranda trees. I really do. Beautiful.
Well,
Um,
you haven't been to the best place in South Africa, which is Cape Town.
yeah, I really want to go. I
Yeah.
really do want to go. It looks so beautiful
Yeah. Cape Town
over
is
there.
also the hub of baseball in South Africa. Actually, we the strength of baseball in South Africa lies in Cape Town.
I've been told that.
Yeah.
What brought it on the main stage?
Look, I mean, if you go back, obviously Cape Town is a port city, and
Yes.
that's where this whole thing originated from, and obviously way before my time.
Hmm.
I believe American sailors, rocked up here, and that's how the game was found.
Yep.
Obviously, the roots of the game, from what I'm reading, a lot of it stems still from the Gauteng area, the old Transvaal area,
Yep.
but Cape Town, I mean, over the last decade plus, Cape Town has been the most dominant area of South Africa in terms of baseball. The National Baseball Championships is dominated by Cape Town and the Western Cape teams.
Hmm.
That's pretty much every year.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So Cape Town has got a very, very big colored community.
Hmm.
And baseball is very much a colored community sport. And in Cape Town alone, we've got about 19 clubs.
Hmm.
And I'll give you an example um, of what that would mean to an American, because Americans don't really operate with clubs per se. Very much tournament style, travel ball, those type of things. Whereas
Right.
Cape Town is very much a club culture. So a club like my club, for argument's sake, we will
Hmm.
have peewees, under 10s, under 12s, under 15, under 18, and then we'll have a few senior teams, as well as a what we call a masters team, which is the 40 plus guys who still want to play every weekend. So what my one club has got 9+ teams playing
Hmm.
every week. So it's a very um very big in Cape Town, and it happens on a weekly basis. But that also is the problem. It only happens on a weekly basis. Whereas when we're playing in the States, you're playing every single day. Even if you play at college level in the States, you're playing 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week.
Yes.
Whereas we would play once a week. So that's why one of my big goals has been to develop players good enough to go to the States. I'm very conflicted when it comes to professional versus the collegiate system, because when you go into the collegiate system, you could be playing very much minor league type baseball, but you're also getting a degree for life after. Whereas if you sign professionally, and I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are, it's just how lucky you are, because if you're in the right organization with the right needs at that stage, you're gonna get somewhere. You could be a stud, but they don't need that position at that stage, you're gonna get nowhere. So
Exactly.
so I lean a lot more towards getting players into college.
Absolutely.
And we've been blessed. Our first one from J.A.M Academy left in January, and he's with the HBCUs at the moment, and he's doing great at the moment.
It refreshed my memory because I just saw the highlights over the weekend on your Instagram stories. What was the kid's name?
Tyron Brickhill.
Yes,
Yeah,
I saw him. He's a stud.
yeah, and he happens to come from our club as well.
Wow.
So
Yeah, because
he's been developed to get there.
so he goes to school in the States, correct?
He's at Philander Smith University in Arkansas. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that has been this great, well, J.A.M's great collaboration with a group of people in the States, and we are starting to now make that bigger and more official, and we in the process of getting this to be a legit pathway to the US colleges.
Yes, absolutely. I am for it.
Yeah,
I
so
am for it.
big thing.
So, from what Coach Andre explained to me, one there was an original plan, and it kind of fell off that you guys have a relationship with HBCU colleges.
Well, not actually with HBCU colleges. It was more a relationship with Full Count Foundation, which is out of Detroit,
Yes.
as well as another group of people who currently the name is being changed at the moment. It's more USA Baseball and Softball Africa, because the intention is to grow this thing not just from Cape Town, not just South Africa, but into Africa as well. So yeah, so there's a big drive to make this a Africa continent academy system, and pathway to the US.
And that is something I want to pursue with
Okay.
every academy that I've spoken to. I already spoke with two, you and another one, and then I'm going to be speaking to number 3 later on. And I'm basically, I want to bring noise where noise is driven to the States, because I think it's very important. I think this game needs to be expanded more, and I think the noise can be right. I'm like, look, you had Americans bring baseball in the night, like 1890s to 1900s. Same thing later on with Japan, Korea, the Caribbean. It was an American sport, but it was spread throughout. And I see Africa as no different. Now I'm talking about the continent in
The
whole,
continent, for sure.
for sure. And even though this is a small platform, eventually it's going to grow. I think that there is more to life than what the news speaks of the continent. Um, you know, people on social media, and that's not my style. I'm like, I think that there is more to South Africa, more to the continent than anything. And that's something I do applaud with you guys doing this to, you know, get the kids in the right direction. We have the same issue in our inner cities, and that's why we have in the States, we have a bunch of leagues. We have
Yeah.
summer collegiate leagues, we have independent leagues, we have a lot of what
Travel
was it?
ball.
Travel ball, the AAU,
Yeah.
the Little League World Series
Yeah.
leagues. I'm like, we have it all, and it grew so many players to go into major leaguers. Now, in your academy, did you have any that went to MLB or minor league?
Yeah, so our academy is super young. I mean, we literally 2 years old,
Hmm.
and in like I said, in the last 6 months, this has gone from a small dream to a massive dream. I mean, the
It is.
yeah, the impetus that's happened in the last 6 months has taken us from thinking small to thinking
Big.
continental. Yeah,
Yes.
so really continental. And from my side, I've been blessed to have been kind of in at every level of South African baseball. So I understand the landscape very well now, whether it's the landscape on the field or in the boardrooms. And with all of that, I've now taken the stance to do something about this, because maybe I should just uh, fill you in. Maybe you're not. Maybe you did not hear. MLB has been in South Africa
Yes.
and in Africa for a period of time.
Yes.
And I just think from our side, I was also involved in that. I
Hmm.
was, again, blessed to be involved in that. I did reporting to MLB on players. I just don't think South Africa itself spoke enough to MLB about what our needs were, rather than MLB just coming here and doing what they thought was the right thing.
I
So
agree.
we had a situation where MLB came here 10 years in a row. Every December, we used to have an African kind of all-star camp, if you want to call it that,
Hmm.
where players around Africa were brought to Cape Town or to Durban for it's about 12 days, and
Hmm.
they would go through intense training and intense um, development, if you want to call it.
Hmm.
And there was high level people that was brought in from MLB. You'd have high level coaches. I mean, when I was involved, Homer Bush was here, Steve Perry were here. So I worked with the two of them. So it's not that we have not had high profile people here. I just
Hmm.
think that the foresight from MLB may not have been the correct foresight, where they were looking at 10 or 12 days of player development,
Right.
where from my side, who's going to be developing those players when you leave? And that for me was more important. How do we have coach development to a
Right.
level where a coach for the next 11 months will be developing the same kid that was at that academy? Oh, well, not at that all-star week, because then you'll see true difference. Whereas, spending 10, 15 days putting a kid through something that, it's really next level, and then for the next 11 months, back to the normal South African coaches who may or may not be equipped to take them to the next level.
Was
So,
it because of the interest? Like
in
the
terms
interest
of
level was just the interest
MLB,
in the game?
yeah, look, it was, I mean, Gift, Gift Ngwepe, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of him. Now
Yes,
Gift
first South
came,
African player in
yeah.
MLB. Yes.
So Gift came through that program. So that's also great. Tyron was also lucky to have been part of that program. Tyron Prickle. But again, what happens when you leave? So fortunately, Gift was blessed to get signed, and I think he had a very good story, and that helped the signing.
Yes.
And he took the opportunity when he was there. I mean, Gift is now I think he's managing or coaching in the D-backs organization.
Oh
So
wow.
So he's still there. I mean, he's been doing it for a few years, but we don't hear those stories. We don't hear enough of the good stories. The successes. We always just hear, South Africa's going nowhere.
Right.
And unfortunately, I do believe we need to look at home first, because when we have those opportunities, why did we not put a plan in place to piggyback off it? And I'm definitely not one of those people that likes handouts. I like to work. I like to work for what I'm going to do.
Same here. Yes.
And when you do that, you're going to put something in place that will outlive you. Because at the end of the day, I'm only here for a finite period.
Correct.
So if I put something in place that has this pipeline, the pathway to the US, and I'm mentoring the people now already while I'm around, this thing just continues for years to come. And that is the new plan from J.A.M. I don't want one Andre, I don't want one Kevin, I want 10 of us. Because
Yes.
then I know this is continuity and it's not just a once-off thing. And I would love people to invest in that sort of dream rather than a short-term dream.
Correct. J.A.M Academy. When your final breath lays, I'm like, you're an old man, you know that your time has come. What legacy do you want to leave?
My ultimate, and this is something that I've mentioned to every single person that wanted to collaborate with us. My ultimate dream is to have a baseball school. That means I am going to be developing players academically as well as baseball without having to choose between the two. We'll build the one around the other, which means you're a great player. If you're a Tyron, for argument's sake, I'd have had him earlier in that school, preparing him from the baseball point of view, but also making sure that his academics will be ready for a USA college. Because I mean, I've had two kids that went to US college. My daughter's graduating this year. And so I know the system. I know what it takes. I know how difficult it is, how easy it is. And the pathway to getting that education is being a student athlete.
Yes.
And the way to get that is not always from South Africa in terms of athletic money, but athletic and academic money.
Yes.
Because very few of our kids are going to get full rides athletically, because no
True.
one knows. But if I was from Dominican, different story.
Yes.
They'll grab me straight away. But South Africa, they don't really know us. So from my side, again, it's both academics and athletics, which will give you a pretty good scholarship. And once you're there, like Tyron is now, you do your thing, and that full ride is going to come, because now they can see you.
That's amazing.
Okay. So that's my legacy from the elite side of things, because that's my focus at J.A.M. Andre does a lot of the grassroots and the soccer. Moses Mulaba does the softball side of things, and I'm kind of the elite development coach. So I'm the person that's going to be doing the development, but also the big picture of this baseball school.
Wow.
Yeah.
And lastly, the relationship with the Full Count Foundation. How did that come into be?
Yeah, that was quite interesting. In Kurt Mondozia Jr., we kind of connected, and he was so invested in this initially that he jumped onto a plane last year, March, actually exactly this time. And he came to Cape Town because the National Baseball Championships was in Cape Town. And he stayed with me for a month. And, I took him everywhere, and he was gobsmacked. He did not expect to see what he did. Nobody thinks of South Africa as, good baseball players. I mean, South Africa, what do they know about baseball? And I mean, and I say this respectfully. Once you start meeting people like me, you understand that we do know baseball.
Absolutely.
And we could probably develop American players as well, if not better, than the Americans themselves.
Yes.
So he was fortunate. He saw that firsthand, and he
Mhm.
spent, like I said, he spent a month here. And when he left here, it was different because he realized now this is something that he wants to be involved in. There's another few people, but I don't want to mention them right now
That's
because
fine.
we are in the process of finalizing our agreements and collaboration with them.
Understood.
But guaranteed, as soon as that's finalized, I'll be sharing that with you so that everyone knows that there are people out there that want to help, that want to see this being a success, and they actually want to use J.A.M Academy as the model to eventually go around the country and then eventually around Africa, because that is the target. The ultimate target is Africa,
Yes.
because you can't have a billion people and one guy makes the show. We should be having a few more people, but that's down to our development. And the development is not just the training of those people, but it's the game time, because that's where and I know this firsthand because I played at that level. So I
Mhm.
played at that level for like 8 years, and you get to these tournaments, and 4 games into the tournament, you're now starting to hit your stride. And
Yes.
then 2 games or 3 games later, the tournament's done. So if we had to have more of those opportunities, and that's actually what I want to start with J.A.M Academy. That's what we
Mhm.
actually want to start. We want to take players at a younger level to smaller tournaments, because currently all that happens in South Africa is we go to big tournaments, we go to World Cups.
Mhm.
You know, we're now starting to play Africa qualifiers, but that doesn't always happen because the rest of Africa is from a baseball organization point of view, on the field organization, they're
Mhm.
not close to where we are. They're super talented individually, but they get even lesser baseball than we do. So we tend to always qualify for the World Cups, and
Mhm.
every single year we have an age group team that goes to a World Cup. So this year we will have, I think it's under 15 and 23. The U15 and U23s will play World Cups. Next
Mhm.
year the U12s and the U18s will play World Cup. But that's all that happens. So we just go to World Cups. We never go to smaller tournaments where we can kind of grow into the bigger tournaments. And
Right.
that's part of our plan to help more kids play more international baseball to be ready for the bigger tournaments.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Kevin, this has been awesome. I'll be honest with you. My favorite interviews has always been the South Africa interviews. I made one. Actually, I'm making a friend along the way. Friends now along the way that I still talk to, and I want to help keep the game growing. And I told a friend, told one of the friends out there, I said the World Baseball Classic is going to do some massive changes, reportedly, since it was successful this year. Manfred said possible that we could do it mid-season,
All-star break, I've heard that too, yeah.
All-Star break. Possibly, you open the door to having games, let's say at Yankee Stadium, at Wrigley Field, Fenway
Yeah,
Park, because of the season.
correct.
So my goal for this podcast, not only to address the wrongs and the rights, because I think there are wrongs and rights within Major League Baseball, within minor league baseball. Now I'm starting to get interested in independent ball and summer collegiate. My goal is for this series is I want to be a part of South Africa, not just in a qualifier for the World Baseball Classic, but in a pool and going to a semifinals, a quarterfinals, a finals,
Yeah,
because of what development is there. And
100%.
I want to be either sitting box side or in the dugout to witness this
Yeah,
because it's very important. And My legacy, I want to leave it, is that I contributed to the game I love, and know that my girls, even though they're proud of me already for being just dad,
Yeah,
they see something that dad contributed to this.
yeah.
And that's very,
That's
very
the biggest.
important.
That's the
And
legacy.
that's the biggest. Thank you so much, Kevin. This has been a wonderful conversation. I'm sorry that I was like coughing back and forth, but I'm glad the mute button works. Um, thank you so much. Stay on the call real quick. I'm gonna cut this off, and we're gonna end it here. And I do absolutely appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate it more than you know. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm a person that likes to wear fun t-shirts. I wear a lot of Marvel. I wear a lot of Star Wars. I wear maybe Simpsons and SpongeBob. And I like to get them through oldglory.com. Oldglory.com offers 300,000 items for music, sports, entertainment, and pop culture fans, featuring officially licensed merch from iconic bands to top sports teams. Discover your perfect fan gear and save with my exclusive discount at oldglory.com. So I found a couple things that I want to check out on the site, and they actually have the old school Marlins t-shirt. Not the one that's teal, but the one that they went into Miami. Welcome to Miami. So I'm looking forward to getting some of that, along with other items such as Yankees gear that I'm sad that they didn't make the playoffs, but I'll still get the gear. Get it at oldglory.com. And also use my promo code StadiumBS. You get 15% off your order. That is promo code StadiumBS for 15% discount out of the order. Check them out. oldglory.com. Check them out now while supplies last.
Thank you for watching and listening to Stadium BS. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and give a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform.